Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's our newest podcast, The Whole Avacado. Join myself and Luke as we get into the worst elements of 2019 in things like games, movies, TV, and things like that. So yeah, there we go. This is Cookiecast, The Whole Avacado. There we go. Ooh, that was it's a little fatty. I'm not facing the right way, that's the problem. Those look better.
It's difficult because you can't...
I can't look at...
it's just going to make yourself dizzy.
I need cheek eyes.
Eyes.
Hello. It's me. I keep doing this thing where I do like double intros.
Oh.
Like I do an intro for the podcast and then
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's the one. And then I end up doing an intro at the start of the podcast. So I've now started addressing it by going, probably don't need to do an intro.
Yeah, but it's nice to kind of also have that intro to... So it's the intro to the day that we're doing it rather than the intro to the show.
Yeah.
Because you could even say, it's 8 o'clock on a Monday evening.
On a wintry Monday evening.
He's got a cardigan on right now.
It's not a cardigan, it's a hoodie.
It's a cardigan.
It's got a hood. Look. Now I'm in the hood.
Cardigan with a hood.
I don't think that's a thing.
Well, I think maybe it is. Maybe you're rocking it.
It's nice and soft.
Hoodigan.
Unicorn. I'm here.
I'm here.
You're here. Which can only mean one of the possible scenarios. But in actual fact, this is Cookiecast, The Whole Avacado. What was it the other day? TWA? I like it.
Yeah. It sounds like a
It's a
wrestling
wrestling
show.
thing, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe we won't use that. Might get sued.
No, it wasn't. Was it TWA?
No, TNA.
TNA.
Yeah, like the Dynamite.
Oh, I was thinking of something else.
NWA.
No, TNA usually means something else.
Yeah.
It's not for this podcast though.
No,
I don't
it's
want
not.
to offend your young listeners. When I say young, it's probably most people other than us. Yeah.
So we did the first one, which turned into the first two.
Well, we did ramble on. It was quite a lot to cover.
There was a lot to cover. The good parts of 2019. We're quickly getting into 2020, so this is probably the time to see the other side, the dark side.
The dark side. I mean, it's a difficult one because I don't want to go on too long about it because people listening to like negative things isn't always a good thing. So I want to do this, and I also want to talk about some of the things we're looking forward to in 2020.
All those games that are coming out, obviously.
Games that are coming out, yeah.
Yeah. That definitely won't get put back. Cyberpunk. Go on then, lead us off. This is your thing.
Welcome to the Whole Avacado, worst of 2019. Basically, we're going to cover exactly the same things that we did in the last podcast, but on the negative side of things. So, go through the list again.
Don't say negative, say constructive criticism side.
Sorry.
Because I honestly think that I'm going to try not to be negative. I've been criticised for it previously.
For the last, how many years? 40? Oh no, sorry, you were a baby at some point. Let's say 30?
Probably more like 35.
Probably 35, yeah.
Right. So what's the first thing on the list?
The first thing on the list is the worst movie you watched in 2019.
Now then, I'm gonna say from the get-go, I struggled with this list. And I'm going to, on certain individual things, I'm going to cover.
Is this because you're being so positive about it?
I'm positive.
Yeah, so positive.
Kind of. There is an element of that involved. It's also surrounding things like time and stuff. However, this is a film that I have covered recently, but it left such a bad taste in my mouth that I think it's worth covering again. The Netflix original movie.
Oh, are we talking Six Underground?
Six Underground.
Right, really? Wow. I mean, I've not seen it.
Holy
shit. Did that come out? I thought that came out. Did that come out last year?
Yeah, because I watched it on... I definitely watched it before New Year, because I watched The Irishman at New Year.
Okay, right. It definitely came out.
It definitely was out.
It's because I care so much about it that I don't even know when it came out.
I think it was like beginning of December. Could probably get you a release date if necessary. I'm going to say beginning of December 2019. Six Underground was released to amazing reviews. I mean, Michael Bay suffers critically. Anyway.
Did they not say it was the most Michael Bay movie of all time?
Where a statement like that can only be a criticism.
Well, exactly. It's not like... It's not a good thing.
It was just... I spent the whole film just going, why? Why? Every time they gave you a piece of information, it was met with, but why? Oh, I'm a millionaire. Okay, well, no, I'm a billionaire. All right, cool. All your money's in cash then, yeah?
Obviously a bad guy. If all his money's in cash.
Do you know how much $1 billion is? To have it all in cash because you don't exist, which means you don't have a bank account. So
how does he keep track of that?
Does he
keep his receipts?
See?
Does he have a really good accountant?
Single piece of information in that film is met with why?
What I want to know is why Ryan Reynolds agreed to do it.
What, Deadpool?
Well, yeah, he has pretty much become Deadpool now.
Deadpool?
Yeah.
Deadpool's in it.
Yeah. I mean, he's in a lot of films recently. He's in a new one coming out on Netflix that has Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That'll be a trade-off for Hobson Shaw.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He's going to be in...
Spoiler alert, because people might not have seen that movie. And they didn't know that he was in it. And Kevin Hart. Sorry.
Kevin Hart
ruined it.
He's going to be in that Free Guy where he plays Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be in Deadpool 3.
He's going to be in Deadpool 3. Playing Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah. So, Six Underground, it looked like a whole load of orange and blue, like every other Michael Bay movie has ever looked. Orange and blue, orange and blue, orange and blue explosions. Slow-mo, spin around cameras. Do you have some helicopters flying overhead? Slow-mo?
The slow-mo. The slow-mo. It was, how can we make this film a third longer than it needs to be? Just slow everything down. You're a genius. As with the last one, I was like, I don't want to tread over. I've done podcasts. I did a review of Six Underground. I gave it an absolute hammering. I did watch it while I was unwell. I had a headache, and I had like.
Why would you do that? It'll probably give you more of a headache.
I did. it was a headache on its own. I felt really sick. It was possibly the worst thing I could have watched at that point in time, but that's what I ended up watching. The characters or caricatures, it was a hot mess.
It didn't look good. I think that's why I've completely avoided it, because it just didn't look good.
I would suggest you go out of your way to avoid it. No, this isn't staying in line with the trying to not be negative, but sometimes you need to save people from themselves. and somebody might accidentally watch that movie and then turn up being like, why didn't you warn me?
Our friends at IGN gave it a kind of favourable review.
It got like a 6.
I think it was like a 6.8 or something. But it's IGN, so you don't really
big sack of cash.
You don't really care about those reviews because
big sack of cash.
They don't really count.
No. At least they've moved to a no decimal point system now.
Yeah, definitely.
So presumably they can charge more for their reviews.
Yep.
I imagine.
So it makes them look better. Yeah, or you can we'll bump that up to a 7 for you.
We'll definitely give that a 7. I mean, really, it's a 4, but this sack with this dollar bill sign on it, that's going to make it a 7. If we break it
down, it was like a 6.1, but we'll,
But it's a 7 now.
Yeah, it's a 7.
Their reviews will almost be worth nothing before long.
The thing is, though, it's that thing where it's like your first go-to just to see if the review is up, and then you check elsewhere.
Yeah, you can't fault them for being always on the bobby with reviews, but then it is like you say, you go IGN first. Oh, what did IGN have to say about it? Okay, what did the rest of the world think?
Yeah, that's what does real reviews...
Yeah, what do real reviews mean? Right, it's a completely different picture to IGN. It's funny because, IGN were advertising it for 6 weeks before it came out.
Well, yeah, really pushing it.
Etc.
Yeah. Every video I try and watch on there is an advert for whatever.
Yeah, whatever latest thing that's coming out that they will tell you is awesome before release and then give it a terrible review afterwards because they know people don't care after it's been released. Stuff like that. Just those sorts of things. $600,000 was nothing short of terrible. There was another film I'd watched. I don't think it had been released in 2019. And again, I did a review of it previously. But there was a film called Hitman's Redemption. Absolutely nothing to do with the Hitman series in any way, shape or form. But it had Ron Perlman in.
Did anything to do with that Hitman's bodyguard that Deadpool was in as well?
No. Oh. No, it wasn't that. Again, I did a review of it. I'm not going to go over it again. That was a hard watch. I don't think it was released in 2019, but I did watch it in 2019. It took me about 3 weeks of watching like 5 or 10 minutes in the gym when I was on the treadmill, and it not being very good.
I can't believe you can concentrate on movies while you're in the gym and things. I struggle to concentrate on a podcast while I'm working. I imagine it to be a similar thing.
Whereas I'm literally opposite. I will have a podcast on my headphones and be watching something on the screen while I'm on the treadmill, because that way I can get through it. And then when I'm lifting weights, I've got the podcast going, not this one, a podcast. But yeah, I'll have a movie on or a TV show on or whatever, with subtitles and a podcast in my ear. So I just have to have something to be able to get through being on the treadmill. And at work, I'm pretty much exclusively listening to podcasts because that's how I roll. As far as movies are concerned, there was, and this ultimately is what this is all going to be about. I generally try to not spend my time on stuff that I don't feel is going to be worth it.
Do you not feel like when a movie has had such a bad review, you're like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go and I'm going to give my opinion on it, because that's what that's what my worst movie is.
Yes, because I still want to see the latest Rambo. That's a terrible
I heard
reviews.
that if you're easily offended by racism and things like that, then it's probably not the.
I am easily offended.
You don't want to watch it. I know what you snowflakes are like.
Oh. So, what was your?
I'm shocked that you haven't seen this movie, because this is a movie which was universally slated, and I was like, you know what, I need to watch it, and like I said to you, I need to watch it and give my own personal opinion on it, and just to see why it's so bad. So I watched the 2019 edition, whatever you want to call it, of Hellboy. Right? Because I wanted to see what everyone was on about, why it was so bad. And all I can say is, what a load of garbage. It, like, absolute waste of my life watching that movie.
When it comes to that film, they released a trailer for it, like the first trailer that they released, and the trailer got panned.
Yeah.
So they recut the trailer and re-released it, and people were like, "Oh, it actually looks all right now." But I was like, "But go back a couple of days to the point where they released that first trailer, and it looked fucking shit."
As soon as they released the pictures of David Harbour as Hellboy, it was just like, it just doesn't look right.
And then obviously at the point that it was then released to some of the worst reviews I've seen of any movie.
Yep.
In a world where comic book movies are king.
Yep.
For it to get those sorts of reviews and scores and stuff, it was like, I don't think I ever need to see that.
It was 4 movies.
Come watch it for free on Netflix if you want.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I mean not for free, but
it's Netflix. Isn't it?
It was 4 movies in one. It wanted to do all these different storylines, and it was just, it just couldn't do it. It should have been, for those who have seen it, it should have stuck to one of them, like the Giant Hunt, or it should have just focused on the Mia Jovovich kind of
Resident Evil.
Well, yeah, she might as well have been, but yeah, I really wish it was good. I was hoping it was going to be better than the reviews.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? You don't want it to be bad, you don't want it to be a bad film and stuff, but everything I saw, it was like, I can't go anywhere near that.
You need to watch it. I think you need to watch it because you need to see. You do.
And this is what it comes down to. Over the last whatever years, certainly over the last year, my time is so limited and my time is so precious that it is literally like, I can't waste my time on bad stuff. And I'm going to come to that a lot through this list. Like, certainly when we get to like the TV show, the TV show I'm going to talk about, the reason it's on my list as the bad side of 2019 is because I have a rule, and we'll come to it, but my time is so limited and my time is so, like I say, precious. I have to go with, that's going to get me the best result.
It's always worth, for me, it's worth giving something a go. Like,
that's my rule. But you have to respect the rule.
But what happens about,
works both ways.
What happens about if it's a movie in a saga? Would you still give it the time of day? I don't want to talk about, we're not talking about Star Wars. I'm going to bring up a movie I watched on Sunday.
The Pirates of the Caribbean.
It was...
Because obviously I have very strong feelings about the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
1 to 3 is a great trilogy.
Nope.
The first Pirates of the Caribbean is one of the most perfect movies you could watch.
The first Pirates of the Caribbean film is okay.
They should have done 1 to 3 and left it. 3 was a slog. 2 was okay. 3 was a slog.
They should have done 1 better and left it at that. Was my opinion from the start.
1 was great. Absolute amazing movie. But I watched number 4 on Sunday.
Jeez. Because
ITV had been showing them on TV, and there's something about watching a movie on TV with the adverts I quite like. Yeah,
old school.
Actually, exactly.
Like how we used to watch films back in the day.
I love it. But yeah, and because they weren't showing 4 and 5, I went out and bought them because I own the other 3, and I might as well get the other 2. It cost me £6 to get the other 2. The 4th one was £1. The 5th one was £5. So yeah, I managed to get through the 4th. Awful movie. Really bad. You take the crew out of it, you take the Pearl out of it. What have you got left? Nothing. It mainly wasn't even set on ships. It was just them walking around an island.
I lost interest after the first one.
Ian McShane though, great.
I've definitely seen the second one.
You must have seen the first 3. Everyone's seen the first 3.
What happens in the third one?
Big lady turns giant and turns into crabs.
Then yes.
That's the third one. And it's a bit where they're in Davy Jones's locker and he's licking rocks and crabs are making the boat move.
Yeah.
And he's got several Jack Sparrows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the CGI of Davy Jones still holds up today.
Yeah.
There's a few shots where you think, yeah, it definitely doesn't look like he's... But most of it, it's like, wow, that is still really good.
Yeah. I think I realised very early on they weren't films for me.
I mean, the big Disney films, they're based on a ride. They weren't ever going to be massive, amazing films.
No.
They weren't going to make you, like, go home and really think about it. Like, oh, that film's really hit me. Yeah, definitely. Johnny Depp's amazing. No one has ever said that in their life. Probably amazing at beating women, but...
Whoa!
Well, I'm just saying, obviously it's...
Firstly, you need to say allegedly.
Sorry.
Secondly, don't think that's the way that ended up coming off. Because I'm pretty sure it actually looked like it was the other way around. Allegedly.
Allegedly?
I
Supposedly.
do have another film.
Oh, really?
On my list.
A joint worst movie?
No.
Oh.
It's a film that I can't say to you that film was terrible. Even though I want to. Because I don't think it was terrible. I feel that me personally, and I know that I've spoken to other people, and they had a similar opinion to me. However, I personally feel that I probably wasn't either intelligent enough, or I just wasn't born in the right era.
It's got to be the Jay and Silent Bob reboot then.
I haven't seen it yet.
That's got to be one of the worst movies. I've not seen it either.
I haven't seen it.
And you know what? It's going to be shit.
It's not.
It is going to be shit.
It's had really good reviews.
From who?
Everyone.
Kevin Smith fanboys.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But it's had really good reviews.
Anyway.
I feel that not being a child of the era was maybe a factor. But, and I'm not saying, what I'm not going to say is it was a bad film, because I don't feel that I can say that. But what I will say is a film that I came away from it going, I didn't get the enjoyment from that I wanted to, was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Not seen it.
I won't ruin anything, but there's been a collection of Tarantino films that I've seen and walked away from going, that was a bad experience for whatever reason.
Death Proof.
Haven't seen it.
Oh man.
Jackie Brown, on the other hand.
Was that when we walked out? No, we didn't. Did we see?
We were going.
We were going to walk out at the cinema.
Yeah. There's two films I've seen that I've nearly walked out of the cinema. One was Jackie Brown, the other one was Traffic. Both for very, very similar reasons. It's like, what the fuck is happening in this film? There's been a series of Tarantino films where I've been like, I don't get it. I
really think that he needs to do this last film and retire, because I'm really sick of him. Really sick of his films, because they're very much up his own ass in all these movies.
So you're saying the latest that he's going to do a TV show
based on the
TV show that's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. I'd rather he did Star Trek, to be honest, but it's never going to happen.
No, it's not. There is a bit at the end, which fortunately, it's right at the very end. It is the last bit of the film, and I thought it was fantastic. I was like, that absolutely made that film.
Credits?
No, it's the last bit of the film.
Oh.
Like, that absolutely made that film. Unfortunately, almost everything up to that point, I was like, what are we trying to do here? What is this? And I know I've watched the making of, and I've watched like other sort of the little documentary things and bits and pieces, and it's like, it's his love letter to Hollywood from a time where he was a boy and the time that he remembers. It's like, surely that's really like subjective. Like, unless
I'll just chuck money at him, though. That's the thing. Quentin, make us a movie. You can do what you like.
They filmed it on like Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
And just built the way it should have looked.
Yeah.
At that time. They closed the whole street down.
Yep.
It's like, all right then. But it was it's not a short film.
Have you ever?
And I felt every minute of that film. And I'm not about to sit here and go, that was a bad film. There's that part of me that goes, I probably need to watch it again, but we'll probably also never see a point in time where I'm going to go, oh yeah, I'll watch that again. One of those films where some of the reviews that I saw, like the stuff where they talk about Bruce Lee, and I was like, no, there's no way. You're just being oversensitive.
Yeah.
You're being too sensitive about an icon, a legend.
There's a lot of like stuff that came out about that, and a lot of kind of backlash regarding the Bruce Lee stuff.
And I was like, no, you're just being too sensitive because it's who it is. And then I watched the film and I was like, no, you are absolutely bang on about that. It was a horrific portrayal of Bruce Lee. To start off with, I was like, no, look at him. Look, he looks fine. He looks like Bruce Lee. He's got the glasses on. He's got the hair. He's got the demeanour of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
You are wrong. And then he took the sunglasses off. It's like, who are you then?
Yeah.
Then he takes the jacket off. It's like, you couldn't even get somebody with the same physique in this day and age. Have a word. So when you're agreeing with people criticising it, you know that there's something not right. I just didn't really get it. And that's probably the point. That's why I can't say to you it's a bad film. It's just a film that I wrote on the list to say I didn't walk away having had a good experience with that film. And I'll probably leave it at that.
There's probably many other films I watched throughout 2019 and I thought, but, you know, I'd have to have a massive list in front of me to think, you know, looking down the list thinking, yep, that was crap, that was crap, that was crap. But, you know, we've talked about the best films.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we talk about the worst TV series of 2019? Obviously, we're going to differ quite highly on this because my worst TV series was one of your best TV series, I think. I really disliked Final Space Season 2.
So Final Space is on my list. It is on my list.
But you mentioned that as one of your favourites. You said you watched it and you really enjoyed it.
By the end, I enjoyed it. It was a slog to get through the first half of that series, which is why it is on my list as it wasn't the best representation of 2019. From something that started out so strong.
It was a big disappointment for me. It was something I loved, Series 1. Yeah. It was... You know, I think, did I tell you about Series 1?
Yeah.
Put you onto it?
It was you that told me to watch it, as is often the case with stuff like that.
Yeah, well, usually animated things, I think, is... Yeah. But yeah, I watched Series 1, loved it, I rewatched it, loved it, and then I was like, hyped for Series 2. It came out, and I actually watched it before it came on Netflix, on one of those...
Totally legitimate evaluation.
Legitimate, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was watching it every week, and every week I was just like, wow, that was an episode of Final Space. That was, it was like 20 minutes of time.
Yep.
Yeah, it was, I really disliked it. I didn't like the new characters. I didn't like the fact that we had to get backgrounds on every single thing that happened. I really hate Gary's mum. What more? It's just...
The thing with Gary's mum is that you're supposed to hate her.
Yeah, but even by the end of it, I still hated her.
I think you're still supposed to.
Ugh.
She's still technically the bad guy.
And they say Kevin's the worst. But you know what? Mum's the worst.
Again, it's a series that I've reviewed heavily because it took me so long to get through that every week I seem to be talking about it.
I was waiting for the finale. I was like, come on, it's got to be on like the last episode now.
Yeah.
It's got something good's got to happen.
Like I say, it's on my list. For me, I have this thing that I had my paternity leave. So I had that whenever the hell that was. Back end of the year.
Yeah, 'cause it ended in December, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew that I was going to need like big piles of films because I had 2 lots of paternity. I had time off when the baby was first born, and then I had paternity like 6 months later. So I knew that I needed like a big pile of films, big pile of like TV series and stuff like that.
So you were like saving stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was also listening to people going, oh, I've watched this and it's great. I've watched that, it's great. Oh, I've started watching this. Things that people were like really talking about. It's like, oh, I'll put that down on a list so that when I need like something to watch, I can start working through some of this stuff. I can't imagine that this series came out in 2019, but I did watch it in 2019.
Is this the one you were talking to me earlier about getting 3 episodes in?
Yes.
Right.
So, the series in question, and...
Am I going to totally disagree, by the way?
Probably.
Right.
Because I can't imagine anybody agrees with me on this one, because everybody loves it. Series in question is Tin Star.
Didn't watch it. But the fact that my father said it was really good...
Everybody raves about it.
Means that it wouldn't be, because he likes utter garbage.
Everybody raves about it. So I was like, okay. I've seen a lot of adverts. Like Sky have been just like advert.
I remember billboards about it, yeah.
So they're like really heavy on it. Obviously it's got Tim Roth. Don't mind Tim Roth.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
He made a great Abomination.
Yeah.
It didn't really.
Doing TV as all these actors do these days.
Exactly, it's good money.
Move over to TV, get that dollar bill, y'all.
Yeah, got to keep working.
Premise of this isn't a spoiler. I mean, I think you can get this from pretty much any advert you watch. He's a policeman in a small town, but he's also not the most morally good person.
Does he put an accent?
Well, it's set in America.
Does he put an American accent?
Probably. I'm going to go with yeah.
You think? I'm sure I've seen trailers. And
oh, no. No, I think he's British.
Yeah.
I don't want to
which is good. For me, that's a good thing, because I'm sick of
I think there's a thing about
pretending to be...
I think there's a thing about he came from England and then became like a small town sheriff.
Yeah.
And there's bad things going on. So I have a rule. So the rule is, as you know, give it a chance.
Always go watch first episode.
Watch first episode.
Pilot, get it out of the way.
Watch pilot. Play the first hour. You know, you got to get through the first hour plus of a game. You know, movies not so much, because I think you're basically locked in if you sit down for a movie.
Yeah, you should finish a movie unless it's so bad.
I've watched stuff. I watched Rocket Man, and 10 minutes in I nearly turned it off, but not because it was bad, because the subject matter was a little too close to home for me. So everybody's raving. So I was like,
can we just go back to that? Because you're a bit Elton John.
Yeah, because I'm a gay singer.
Yeah, I thought so. All right, good. Who changed his name?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We could talk about the latest series of Ray Donovan.
Because no, good. I wouldn't know anything about it.
I'm a huge Ray Donovan fan.
Also something my dad likes, so...
But the latest series of that wasn't great. I was like, they should have ended it.
I didn't even know it was still going.
You know the bit where he like dies at the end of the series before? It's like, leave it there. That'll be good. I'll be doing another series. Don't. Leave it there.
Did you do
another series and it wasn't good.
Did you do a Drake Ramore and come back in...
and they've done another series as well.
Really?
Which I haven't watched yet.
Wow.
So, I watched that series, Ray Donovan, and I watched Ash vs. the Evil Dead Series 3, and you know, I had a pile of films, obviously not on an audio podcast, but like a foot tall.
Can I just say, the Ash vs. Evil Dead thing it's a difficult watch. It's great, but just some of the things that happen in it, like, you just like...
I reviewed it as, I think I'd have rather they did another film.
Well, that's next.
Took elements of it. He's hung the chainsaw up.
Eh?
He says he's not doing it
No,
anymore.
Sam Raimi wants to do another Evil Dead with Ash.
It won't. I don't think it'll be Bruce Campbell Ash. I think it might be the female Ash.
Yeah, he said he wants to do it with Bruce Campbell.
Well, watch this space, people. So these were the things that I was working through. I watched like both of the Bad Boys movies. Apparently, completely forgetting that Bad Boys 2 is pretty terrible.
We used to quote Bad Boys when we were younger so much. We're not going to now. I'd like to point this out.
Actually, quite looking forward to seeing the new one. So it's had quite good reviews. With,
Matt Lawrence with his mums.
With a square head.
Yeah.
Weirdly, he looks better now. Since they've done the film, he actually looks better now.
That's what we realised.
The fuck?
Weirdly though,
He actually mentioned it though. He actually mentioned how fat he is at the time that they made the film. I was like, okay.
Maybe he put on weight for the movie.
Maybe he did.
Maybe that's part
of it because he's supposed to be, coming up for retirement.
Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't what we're talking about. I went through all of this stuff, but I was starting to get low on TV series because at that point in time, it's like the baby's fallen asleep on me. I'm now stuck sat on the sofa. It could be 10 minutes, could be 3 hours.
You just go back to what you've watched in the past.
So you press the button for the TV and you start watching whatever it is you're watching. I watched, we've talked about the Defiant Ones, that evolution of hip hop.
Yeah.
All these sort of things, stuff that's easy to access. So you can press the Netflix button for the TV, you press the Prime button, this sort of stuff. So I'd had Tin Star recommended to me. I'd seen loads of trailers, I'd seen loads of billboards, I'd seen loads of stuff about it. I was like, that definitely looks like my sort of thing. I'm going to sit down and watch it. I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, as a first episode, that was okay. It was just all right. It was just
First episodes are always
first episode. Yeah. Although I say you should watch the first episode, you can't really judge stuff on its first.
No, definitely not. It's usually the first episode is the pilot, without calling it a pilot.
I watched the second episode, and at the start I was like, right, from the way this episode has started, I feel that you're trying to make me think a certain thing, and that surely just means that it's the opposite. So the episode unfolds, and by the end it was like, oh look, it was the opposite of what you wanted me to think at the beginning of the episode. I'm not the most intelligent human being. I've got no issues saying that because it is the way it is. But something that treats me as I'm stupid, I take umbrage with. So I was like, okay, let's give the third episode a try. Third episode starts and it shows like flash images of something that makes you think that something's happening. It's like, oh, this is happening. Okay, this is happening. And I went, it's going to be the opposite. It's not going to be what you think it is. And it's actually going to be something else. So the episode was done in a series of flashbacks. Get to the end. And I called it by watching the first few seconds of the episode. And I went, this TV series is too predictable for me. If I can tell you what's going to happen in the episode without watching it, then I probably don't need to watch it.
Yeah, there's a... but that's it. Don't you find that a little bit fun?
Where that stayed. I have not watched any more of that, and I probably won't go back to it.
There's a series that I'm going to talk about. Well, actually, I mean, it was on last year. A series called The Rookie, which I have recommended to many people because it is just an easy watch. But that is a series that you can put on and be like, right, I obviously wrote the script for this because this is what's going to happen. And it does. But it's a great watch.
The difference being is it's got Nathan Fillion in, and Nathan Fillion makes literally anything watchable.
Yeah, it is a good series.
There are certain people that's like, yeah, I got to watch that because, got Nathan Fillion in. Green Lantern.
Well, yeah, exactly. But anyway, so
I feel that this is why I was saying that there are two things. One is you've got to respect the rule, but you have to respect the other side of the rule. And if you've given it enough of a chance to be able to say, I don't think this is for me, you should walk away from it rather than going, I'll just give it another episode.
You didn't buy it?
No, I watched it on Now TV, I think.
Right. Because there's nothing worse than buying this is years ago where you'd buy a box set and think, yeah, I'm going to watch that. Oh, shit. And I've got
26 episodes to watch. There was that, the one about parallel universes. Fracture? Is that it?
Sliders?
No. I wish. That was a great...
Fracture? I can't...
a great TV series. I'd learn Nimoy in 2 episodes.
Fringe had Lennon in it.
That was it.
No way, don't diss Fringe.
That
Can't
was
have
it.
you dissing Fringe. It's like every few years I'll go and watch that again.
That
I've got all
me.
the box sets.
I've got series 1.
If you need to buy the rest, I've got them. Is that good?
Okay.
You got it on Blu-ray and on...
I had it on DVD and Blu-ray. They were gifts, and I was like, cool. I watched it like, I don't think I like this.
You got to get past the first season. It gets...
Everybody said that. I was like,
yeah.
I'll come back to it. So, you've got to respect the rule. And, as I said, I was trying not to be too negative, which I feel I haven't said that series was terrible. What I've said is, that series wasn't for me. Because I felt that it treated me like an idiot. Obviously, we've covered the Final Space thing. And I think there is nothing that I sat down and went, that's the worst thing I've ever seen, TV-wise, because I just don't give it the time of day.
No.
Stuff I won't watch.
No, for me, like I said, that Final Space, it was just disappointment after disappointment every week. And hopefully he'll make good on Series 3. I won't be buying it when it comes out on Blu-ray either.
There was another one where I was like, maybe I'll mention that. I don't know. Might be running a little long in the tooth. The Last series is another one of those long-running series where they start to struggle. The last series of BoJack Horseman. I love BoJack Horseman. It's hands down the darkest thing I've ever seen.
I've tried watching it and I just don't get it.
It's so dark.
It's a bit like how everyone always raves about Bob's Burgers, and tried watching it, can't get into it. People love it.
Yeah, but the last series they did that thing where BoJack was in rehab, so you're essentially taking the main character out of the story, and it was like, I don't know what we're trying to do here, but they have announced that I think it's like next week or something, they're releasing the last episodes of BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, it's like the final series, isn't it?
Pretty sure he's going to die at the end.
Maybe.
Pretty sure that's the way they'll go out. You heard it here first, people.
So, should we move on to the next thing?
Please do.
I don't really want to because you are going to slate me completely. Maybe I'll just tell you that my worst game...
Lie to me. Lie to me.
I'm going to tell you my worst game, mainly because it was a big old disappointment and I didn't like it. But then we can move on to yours. I'll just say mine. We'll move on.
I don't think it works that way.
I think it does.
I think you need to tell the people why they can make their own.
No, because
up.
What you think is the reason, which you have got in your head, is not the reason. It is because I just couldn't get on with it.
Tell the people what your worst game of 2019 was. Don't leave them guessing.
My worst game of 2019 is Cookie's best game of 2019.
Whoa!
You said it was.
Whoa!
You said it was.
You ruined my plug. I was going to plug the... go and check out the Game of the Year 2019 podcast. Cookiecast. That's right.
Right. It's not paid advertisement, you know.
It is.
Well, give me some money then.
I'm going to pay myself
Right.
after this.
Jedi. Fallen, whatever it was.
Okay. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was your worst game of 2019.
It was. And I'm not just saying that because it's like everyone thought it was really good.
In the 30 years that you and I have been friends, this will definitely not be the first time that my favourite thing has been your least favourite thing and vice versa. We literally have... Sometimes I wonder why we're still friends, because it's like... So I'm like, how is it that we have managed to keep it going this long? But opposites attract.
Whoa, hang on. Whoa there.
Take from that what you will. Tell the people why the best game of 2019 was your worst game of 2019.
Because I don't like Dark Souls games. I never have done. So why would I like this shit?
Okay.
Don't like it.
That was everybody's criticism. Anybody who didn't like it as a game, that was their biggest criticism. I feel, personally, that my view of that game is askew because they gave an easy on a Souls-like game, and playing it on easy was easy. So I had a conversation with somebody where they were like, "Oh, I don't like it," and I was like, "Oh, how come?" And I was like, "Hang on a minute.
Someone else didn't like it.
What difficulty are you playing it on?" "Oh, I'm playing it on normal." I was like, "Well, my recommendation to you is if you want to get something out of that game, knock the difficulty down. It's a completely different
It was
play."
still pretty hard on easy.
I saw them not last weekend, the weekend before. "Oh, I took your advice on Jedi. It's loads better now."
I think you probably have to get a certain way into it as well for it to be like that game. And you know what? I had
There was a lot to unlock.
Yeah.
A lot to unlock. You were still like the second to last planety level type thing. You were still... The whole point of going there was to unlock something.
I still didn't really... Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, we spoke about it at the time. You were like, "Oh, I went and did this," and I was like, "Well, you weren't supposed to do that. The game tells you not to do that." You know, and you were like,
"It doesn't tell you that. It gives you an option of two planets to go to. It doesn't say do not go to this planet. It said it's tough going there."
The guy says, the little guy with all the hands is like, "Let's not go there because it's fucking nightmare."
Why does it give you an option at the very beginning? You can go to both. When he says let's not go there, it's a nightmare. But that's only his thing. Well, so I'm going to go there and find out what this nightmare's about. It gives you an option.
It does give you the option.
It gives you an option.
It does give you the option.
You take that option.
I didn't.
Well, exactly.
Because
you went the other way.
Don't go there. It's a nightmare. And
it doesn't say don't go there. He said that planet's at, like, you know, whatever it is. He never says don't go there.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Pretty sure he doesn't. Anyway, should we talk about your worst game? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
What I was going to say was, it's okay for you to be able to say, "I didn't like that game." And you are correct. Souls games, if I'd have played that game and there wasn't the option to play it on easy, I'd have never got through it, I'd have never finished it, I'd have never played it at all.
I just didn't want to give it the time.
I'd have never enjoyed it. It's that simple. I felt like I used a get out of jail free card on that game because it gave me the option to play it easy. I've played a game recently. I played a game over last weekend that I've owned for ages, that I tried to play originally, and it was too difficult. I got so far through the game. I nearly, to be fair, actually, having played it recently, I nearly finished it. I got stuck on a boss. Couldn't get past it. Had to give up. Put it on recently. I was like, I'm going to play it a different way, because you're like a good guy or a bad guy. If you play it as a bad guy, you get like more powers, and the game's actually easier if you play it as a bad guy. Put it on, and it's like, pick your difficulty. Right. I don't remember this game having a difficulty setting originally.
What game is this?
Vampire.
Oh.
I text podcast Lum, JK, and was like, "Did Vampire have a difficulty setting originally?" He was like, "No, they added it because people said it was too hard."
Oh.
Like, played it, absolutely loved it. Because it gave me the option of playing it on easy. Which might give you an idea of where I'm going to go. Because like I said, try not to be too negative. However, you tasked me with, you need to give me your worst game, your worst TV, your worst film, and so on.
You're not going to take control.
My worst game of 2019 was in fact not my worst game. It was a game that had an element that I felt ruined that game. And that game was Control.
I knew you were going to say that. Just because it didn't have a difficulty setting. Honestly.
Now then.
You have your own... This is it. It's just the reversal of Jedi.
So, two things. Number one, when we finish this podcast, we're going to go to Tesco's, and I'm going to buy a copy of Control while I'm there, if it's still cheap.
And if I've got it.
So that might give you some idea, because I feel, having spoken to you and having spoken to Sam, two people who've played it since the Game of the Year podcast, I feel that there's possibly a situation where I've missed quite a lot of the side missions, which would have allowed me to level up a lot more than I had done in the game, which would have given me the opportunity to be better equipped to deal with the bit that I couldn't do.
From my history of you playing games, you're a man who likes to finish a game.
I like to finish a game.
So you don't spend as much time on the first playthrough doing the extra side things. No. You like to do the main story.
I like to blast through the game. Like I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn at the moment.
Yeah.
And I made a decision quite early, just so I can actually get through it this time, because I've never finished that game. I am just doing the story and the cauldrons, but I am mostly just doing the story because I actually want to finish it this time. And then, because I'm a person who will replay a game, I know people who will play a game once and never go back to it. I will replay a game.
It's got no replay value. No, there's no chance.
Yeah, but there is stuff that I've got, like in this collection here. There's stuff that I'll put on any day of the week and play because I get a lot of replay value. You know, things like you talk about, like God of War. That game has had more than its money's worth. I've played Jedi 2-3 times.
Yeah.
You know, these are games that I've had them and will continue to get their money's worth because I will continue to play them further down the line. With Control, I did do a lot of the side missions because I couldn't progress in the story. And then there was points where I managed to progress. As it was, I don't think I had a long list of side missions that I hadn't done.
You kind of find them as you go around, though.
But this is the thing. Conversation I had with Sam the other day was like, "Oh, did you do that one?" No.
It's like hunting down all the affected artifacts.
Yeah, it's the artifacts.
Yeah, and there's so many of them.
Yeah. Now, I didn't find that many just wandering around that as a game.
Although some of them are really difficult to do, and you probably hate that bit.
Unfortunately, yes. But what I'm working on the principle of, if I go and play it, I'm going to try and find as many as possible, and then try and do them in some kind of order where I can actually get through them and level up at the same time. So that's my hope. Unfortunately for me, that's a game that I bought. I paid quite a lot of money for it, even second hand.
I can't believe you sold it.
I couldn't get any further with it.
Yeah, did you not think you were going to go back to it?
It was one of those rare times where I was actually in a position of, I need the collateral. It was like, if I trade it in, I'll get the money so that I can get some there. I think it was probably Jedi was due out. And I was like, if I trade that in, it's a big chunk of money off Jedi.
I never used to trade in games.
You know, every now and then I have a big clear out.
Mainly because they've got, after a certain point, they're
they're worth nothing. Yeah. I traded in 9 games not that long ago.
And you still couldn't buy a new one.
No. I got 2 games out of it. So the reason that I am putting Control into that bracket is not because it was the worst game. I've done extensive reviews about that game saying that I truly, truly loved that game, which is why it was such a disappointment that I couldn't finish it. And it haunts me, you know, it's like, especially now knowing other people have played it and finished it, and Sam's like, if we'd have done the Game of the Year podcast later and I'd had played it, it would have definitely been in my top 3. So that goes to show what a game that was.
I remember you texting me one day and you were like, "Have we finished yet?" And I was like, "Nope." And I think, I don't know, maybe you were relieved because I also hadn't finished it. It did take me a while to do the bit you were stuck at, though.
It was the bit where you're like, "Oh, is the bit you got stuck on, is it this?" And I was like, yes, it was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just me getting stuck, but if they've got a copy, I will be picking it up today to come back and try and work through it. However, I am putting it into the category.
Sorry, with the bit you were stuck at was the bit with the thing in the room and you've got to go up and destroy the... You do know there's not much after that.
I know.
So you're buying a game for literally maybe 20 more minutes to play?
Which...
Other than the side missions.
It's one of those. I will have to do a load of side missions to level up because there was things like... Someone was like, "Oh, did you get this power?" Like, no. What about this one? No. It's like the ability to have your shield shoot back.
Yeah.
Your ability to take over the orbs.
Yeah.
And have them heal you.
Ground slam.
That would have been super. I got ground slam.
I got ground slam.
The gun, the fact that I only had 2 slots on the gun.
And you've got like 3 slots in every gun you have, so. Do you get all the guns?
I think so.
Right.
I imagine so. If it's a game that I managed to finish...
Oh, the outfits as well. There's loads of different outfits you can wear.
It'll be a game that I would go back and play again.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily... I mean, what was it? 20...
I think it was 23, 25.
Something.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they've got a copy in a bit. Unfortunately, for reasons previously mentioned, that is having to go in that position.
That's fair enough. Jedi was definitely one of the games I remember buying and then basically a week later took back to like trade in because it's just
is what it is.
There's definitely been a few other games in the past, but I don't think they were last year that were that bad. Need for Speed, what was that? The one before Payback. That was a one I took back within a week.
That doesn't surprise me because I had exactly the same thing with I got to a point where there was a race that I couldn't do. It's like, well, this game is useless to me now.
Yeah. I'm still enjoying the new one.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I was fancying playing it the other day.
Yeah, I put it on for like a bit and get a bit more money, buy a car, maybe do a car up and then turn it off again. Not really progressing in the story. Don't really see need to at the moment. I did buy Wreckfest today though, so I'll let you know what that's like when it comes.
As I said to you the other day, you are the second person to mention that game to me in a week.
20 quid on Amazon. Might as well.
Yeah, why not?
Right, so games. Done that.
Yep.
Bit of a difficult one next for me because I don't really think I've got one. And that's the album of 2019, the worst album.
Obviously, we've already discussed this in the sense that music for us is incredibly limited. For you for me more so than you because you listen to a wide range of music.
Oh, I do, absolutely.
Whereas I listen to pretty much one genre. I get maybe
old school metal.
A couple of albums a year. Unfortunately, one of those albums that we got last year, I would probably put in that position of worst album, only in the sense that I think we covered this last time. Machine Head have had a bit of a run of not producing that good an album recently. Their latest one was better than the one before it, but wasn't by any means a great album.
Do you think it's because they're a bit past it now and a bit?
I don't think past it in the sense of they can.
No, they can still do it, but
they come out and do a 3.5 hour show.
But what I'm thinking is that.
But songwriting's a different beast.
Is that genre kind of on its ass a bit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they probably still fall into the new metal category. So, you know, what else would you call bands of that era now? You know, they got the tag of new metal.
Did you know that Pitch Shifter re-released
on United Kingdom?
Yeah. Burton C. Bells on it. And
Gingers on it as well. Yeah.
I saw them the other day in town.
Oh, yeah. Look well.
Looked like ginger.
Cool. So for me, because I'm so limited, it's like, well, was it this or was it this? So, Machine Head's album Catharsis would probably be my worst album, only because I think I've got that or did Godsmack release an album last year? Possibly. And theirs was alright.
Yeah, everything I kind of like listened to
didn't
come out last year.
There was that Metallica album you really enjoyed.
What, the
that Helping Hands thing. You really liked that, didn't you? I listened to it. Pretty shit.
And also the S&M 2. Have you heard any of that?
No. Not good?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, my God.
That Helping Hands one was one of the worst. Actually, that could fit right in there. If that came out last year,
I'm pretty sure it did.
Then that fits right into that slot.
I'm just going to double check. What was yours?
What?
Worst album?
I don't really have one. Honestly, I have been thinking about it, and everything I seem to listen to is just like it's just old. It's just old music. It's. I try to avoid. Maybe Billie Eilish's album. There's oh wait no. I'm not going to forget that. No, do you know she won 6 Grammys or something?
Cool.
It's your favourite artist, you know.
I mean, she isn't.
Come on now, you
I still haven't listened to the album.
Whatever.
I still haven't.
You even said last time we spoke on this podcast. You were like, Billie Eilish is my favourite
recording artist. Favourite recording.
Yeah, exactly. She deserves all the Grammys.
She probably does.
Don't know about that.
Isn't she like 18 or something?
Yeah, it's okay. She's 18.
Oh wow. Yeah, music's a limited subject in our time of life.
But that's not really a bad thing. I mean, it just means that we know what we like, and we like to listen to the good stuff.
It's because we're old men. We're middle-aged.
We're not middle-aged.
Let that one sink in. Let that one sink in.
Well, you can be middle-aged at any age. It just depends on when you die.
When you die.
Yeah.
If you die at 50, you're middle-aged at 25.
Exactly.
That's probably going to be me.
So, I'm going to move from album to gig of worst gig of 2019. And it's hard to say if it's a bad gig because when you're there, you're loving it. And
that's the thing. So I was thinking about this. Why don't you go first on this one?
Mine, it was still a good gig.
Yeah.
But for me, the amount of people there /
Did you say Metallica?
No, for the amount of people, it was the fact that there was hardly anyone there. And these are like 2 really good people together. I went to see a hip hop artist called Abdominal, who's been one of my favourites for a while. He's fantastic. He's a really fast rapper. And a UK based DJ called DJ Format.
Okay.
Did like a whole few albums together, and they had a new album out. They were touring it. Really good album. But there must have been about 20 to 30 people there.
Oh, I'd love that.
It was really quiet, and it just felt like I felt really bad for the artists themselves because they were like singing to no one. There was no one dancing around, and it just felt really awkward. And York is a very white place, and it was full of very
pretty white
hip hop kind of people, and it's just like,
ooh,
it was a great gig. Nice to see him live. Nice to see him do his stuff live, and but just awkward. And I think that for me, it just made it. I was glad when it finished. I really appreciated him playing York, and really enjoyed seeing him. But I just would have liked a bigger gig and people to get into it a bit more.
I'm very similar to what you was saying. I've been thinking about this one a lot. And I'm like, if I had to name one, which would it be? And I can't tell you that I went to a bad gig, because I didn't. However, what I found was 2019 was the first year where I went, is it time to stop? Is it time to stop going to gigs? I think I mentioned this with the Wild Arts gig, the 30th anniversary gig, where I was like, it was such a complete and utter nightmare to get to deal with everything from leaving home to getting through the doors.
And where was that gig, sorry?
Nottingham Rock City.
Oh, the fact that Nottingham is the worst bit of that entire...
Oh, God, it was awful.
Did he get stabbed or shot?
No.
Then there you go, bonus. It must have been a good gig.
But there were other issues, which I've spoken about. But then, the music was already playing when I got there, which again was an issue.
Yeah.
But a few songs in, it's like, oh, man, you've just got to love it.
I don't know. Do you know? I got I think this is why I've not been to see him since, but I got Wild Arts fatigue many years back where I went to pretty much like many gigs on their tour.
Which is understandable.
Newcastle, I was Doncaster singing on his like acoustic set. I was in, I went all over the place. He played York. I mean, that wasn't very far to go, but I think Manchester we went to, and and it just gets a bit samey.
Yeah, which is understandable. I will happily travel X amount of distance to go and see them. It does help when they're playing York, but so there was that, and I think when I look back over the gigs that I'd been to, there wasn't that's the worst gig, but every single gig I went to had an issue. So like when I saw Machine Head, they played for 3.5 hours. The music was fantastic. The venue was so badly laid out. The light system, I don't know whether it was their light,
the blinding light.
The blinding light.
Yeah.
There were elements that were not good, but the gig was good. I went to see Godsmack at the beginning of the year, and it was the first point in time. I think we spoke about this last time where I actually knew that I was going to go on my own, and I had to go on my own.
You didn't have to.
Like the year before, I'd gone to stuff on my own, not through choice. Whereas the Godsmack thing was like, I bought 2 tickets. I was like, I'm sure I'll be able to find someone to go with all this.
Didn't ask me.
And you and a load of other people, like, you didn't ask me, I'd have gone with you.
I wouldn't have gone anyway. You could have asked me. It would have been nice to be asked.
Should have gone.
It would have been nice to be asked so I could say
really
no.
Really good gig.
Where was it?
Manchester.
See, I would have gone for the Tim Hortons maybe.
Oof. Yes. But it was, the happy, I'm off to a gig. I sold the other ticket outside the gig. It cost me an amount of money to buy originally. I sold it for £5.
Wow. Bought yourself half a Coke with that then.
I know. Half a gram of Coke for so
cheap.
It was a happy and a sad. Then there was other gigs that was like, I'm off to this gig. But then there was like, but that happened. Like, obviously, every time I drive to Manchester, it's torrential downpour, and the chances of dying go through the roof.
And usually really bad traffic.
The traffic's awful, and all this, that, and the other. There was just every gig I went to was fine, was great, was enjoyable, but every single one of them had an element. And it was the year that I first started to think, am I getting too old for this? Is it too much of a hassle? Is it too much to drive to Nottingham when you've got 2 hours to do it, and it's a 2-hour drive, and then you get there and it's a fucking shit show? Is it maybe too much? But then you go in and the music's great, and you're like, I don't know at which point I would give up doing this. So I don't have a worst gig of 2019. I have 2019 was the first year that I've gone, maybe is it time to hang up the gig shoes.
See, for me, I really appreciate the Metallica gig because we had some seats. I'm not gonna lie, working 11 years in an office where you're sat in your ass all day, gigs become harder the older you get. You have to if you have to stand up for a gig for however long a gig goes on for, my feet are aching, my legs are aching. A sit down gig now is like, I love sitting down.
You remind me so much of the Mark Maron stand up where he talks about going to see the Rolling Stones, but the best part was leaving before the end. Getting out on the road before everybody left.
I really want to get out, especially if it's an arena.
He's like, and then we put the Rolling Stones on the CD player and listened to it, and it was the best time ever, just because they got out. It's like, I don't know if that could be me.
One day it will. I think that's probably a podcast for another day, though.
Yeah,
Old man cast. Yeah.
Old man car cast. We'll drive around and sort other people's driving.
Oh God.
I can do that one more.
Do that all the time. So what we're doing? Well, we're doing quite well for time.
Yeah, well,
we go for about an hour, haven't we?
Yeah. Ish.
What time do we start?
I've gone through everything on my list.
No way, there's loads left.
So I don't know what you might have.
Worst book?
Oh, no, that was... Well, right. So, this I can answer.
Mine's really straightforward, but go on.
Tell me yours.
Okay.
Because I just need to get you the name of the series.
So, I was recommended I read 3 of these books last year and stopped because I couldn't physically read any more of them because they got really shit. I started reading the Mortal Engines books on recommendation, and I read the first one. I was like, oh, this is actually quite good, quite gripping. The whole like moving cities thing seems quite like interesting. I was like, right, because I want to watch it. I want to read it before I see the movie. Oh, did that come out last year? Because that was a really bad movie. That could have been on my worst movies list. Because it was nothing like the book. Oh, but yeah, and I thought, right, okay, I'll read the second one because there's like 5 of these books or something ridiculous. And I read the second one. I was like, yeah, that was all right, a bit of a slog. I started reading the third one. I did not finish the third one. I got about halfway through and too much of a time jump. Didn't like the kind of new direction it was going in, and it was just more of the same. And yeah, it just didn't grip me like the first book did. Didn't pique my interest. And yeah, the fact that I actually stopped reading it is definitely a big thing for me. I think I might even get rid of it, like give it a charity, because I'm never going to go back to it.
Got to get it out of the house.
Yeah.
I spoke about these books last time. I was saying like I read the John Dies in the End series.
Yep.
The David Wong.
Remembered this time?
Yes. So I read all of them. There's Books Full of Spiders, Futuristic Violence, John Dies in the End. What the hell did I just read? Was the other one that didn't get mentioned. I read on the Kindle because I've got no space for books.
I know, but do you not?
I like a book.
I love a book.
Like a book.
Love a book.
I finished my hardback book, and I've started another book. So I read a book, but I read a Kindle book as well. I'm currently reading. I bought a couple of Kindle books over the weekend because another book in one of the series I've read. Anyway, but there were these ones that were recommended to me as these are similar to John Dies in the End series. It's like, okay. So there's, I don't even know which one comes first. I don't even know what the series is called. I'm just going from the front here. There's 3 books: The Empty Ones, The Untouchables, Kill All Angels. Excuse me.
All humans.
So they were done in the sense of, they're very similar to those books that you've read. It's like, similar, yes. The same, no. As good, no. And I got, when you get locked in, like especially if you're reading a series of books, so you get locked into it. It's like, I'm reading this series of books. And I'd mentioned them last time and saying like they had this really interesting thing where they were done over time. So one of the characters is in it in the 60s, and then that same character is in it when in the present day, but as an old man.
Right.
That element was a really interesting element, but it's like they didn't do anything with it. And it was so obvious that they were just like, John Dies in the End series, that was really popular. Let's write something almost identical, but not as good. It's like, you can't go down that route. By the back end of that, there was 3 books, I read them all. By the back end of that series, I was like, I just want this to end. The 3rd book had a thing right at the end of it, where it was like trying to sort of finish up, and it was talking about like they started like up here and they were like going down. But like the descriptions of the way that they were going down made no freaking sense. You couldn't,
Yeah.
when you can't visualise it. So, all you've got is the words, so you make the picture in your head.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what is happening at this point in time. It just got confusing because I couldn't build an image in my head.
Do you know, that's always the problem when you move from the book to the TV/movie.
Up to the screen.
Yeah, because you've got that image, and you've then got to kind of rewrite that image, and then the books are never the same again because you're using the image you've seen on the
American Gods. I watched the first series of American Gods and really enjoyed it, and then I bought the book and I read the book, and it's like
we're reading it in Lovejoy's voice.
half of the characters in it don't look like they do like in the book. Like they're almost opposites, which is often confusing. And it's like, oh, that character dies at that point in the book. Like, oh, they're not dead, they're still in it now.
Yeah.
But then, like, oh, they've died later in a completely different way. But that obviously changes the story, and it just gets quite confusing. In that, well, in the book this happens, in the TV series this happens. Both very good though. That was a very good book I read.
I think I really want to try and read more this year. I always think to myself every year, I'm going to read more books. I'm going to watch less things I've already seen. I'm going to use that time, and I'm just going to read my book instead.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it so far. 27 days in, it's not happened yet.
I can't unfortunately join you on that one. I have read a book. I'm reading another book. I'm reading a Kindle book. And like I say, I bought another couple of Kindle books the other day because I was like, they are books I enjoy.
Well, good. So we've covered books. There's not much left of the worst. We've just got a couple more bits. We can cover quite quickly, really, because they're not really, for me, this isn't like a worst. It's just the next thing I'm going to talk about is the worst podcast I've listened to in 2019, and it's a bit of an odd one because it may be the most. I listen to it and I'm like, oh, these guys really pisses me off when I'm listening to them.
If I'd have listened to the podcast I listened to today in 2019, it would have definitely gone in there. Really? But I do have a worst.
Oh, really?
Give us yours.
So I discovered it quite late in 2019, and then start listening to like the kind of back catalogue of it, and which is an odd one for me because you know how much I am a disliker of Kevin Smith and his cronies. But I started listening to the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast, and mainly because I really like Q from Impractical Jokers. He's like one of my favourite ones on the show, and I thought this might be quite interesting. And I do still listen to it. I still listen to the new episode every week, but they're just the most annoying, infuriating three guys that you will ever listen to, especially Brian Johnson. He is such a dick. He is...
But that's his thing.
Oh, he is one of the worst human beings in the world. I fear for his wife-to-be because the way he talks about the way he treats her is not very good. It's like, wow, as if she puts up with that. He is such an arse to her. And yeah, I still listen to it because they've got they talk about some interesting things and it's quite funny, but a lot of the times when Brian Johnson's leading it, it's just like, whoa, don't want to listen to it anymore.
I have tried to listen to it on 2 separate occasions and I just can't. It's hard enough listening to stuff that Kevin Smith does that they're on.
Yeah.
So you'll get like Smodcast episodes where they're all on it, or well, no, I suppose it's mostly Smodcast because everything else has got a different theme. But I can't really listen to Walt Flanagan's voice.
Oh, it's really annoying. He's really annoying.
And he's like super negative and stuff,
yeah.
And stuff like that.
He seems quite a nice guy though.
Yeah. From everything I've heard, he's quite a nice person. But yeah, Brian Johnson. I think he's a character, though.
You think?
I think it's put on because he is such a complete dick.
He is one of the worst people I've ever had the displeasure of listening to.
It might be a character. I can't imagine he's like that, actually. Lost a lot of weight recently.
That's lost, yeah. It's true. But at least he doesn't go like banging on about it like Ethan Suplee. I did not enjoy that podcast, but that was this year. I'm sure it was this year.
Yeah. Only started this year.
Did not enjoy that first episode. That'll be for 2021's the worst of. So sorry, what was your worst?
So like I say, if I'd have listened to this one last year, one I listened to today. You know when somebody does the. Shall we wrap it up there? And the other person's like, no, I can hang on for a bit. And then you get 45 minutes of a podcast that neither person wants to do. I listened to a Joe Rogan today, and I was like, you know the bit where he said, shall we wrap it up there? You should have gone with, let's wrap it up there. Because it was just another 45 minutes of them talking about nothing. Podcasts, I believe that podcasts are supposed to be quite informative. Whether that's funny, or whether it's actually you learn something, or you listen to somebody you enjoy listening to, or whatever, you learn a little bit about them, sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It should be informative. If you're just talking for the sake of talking, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
And my time is precious. Unfortunately, the one that is, and for the exact same reason, was another Joe Rogan, and it was Joe Rogan and Anthony Jeselnik.
Who the hell's Anthony Jeselnik?
He is a stand-up comedian who is known, I think, for roasts more than anything. But he's got a very dark sense of humour. Does a lot of dropping baby jokes and things like that.
No need.
One of his stand-ups is very good. His second one, not as good. Go to the toilet.
I don't want to pause it.
You don't have to pause it. I'll talk.
Oh, God.
I'll talk as if you're still there.
I'm still here.
You are still here.
Now I've got to navigate.
Circumnavigate.
I'm still here. I just made me drink too much.
It was one glass of freaking juice or whatever it was. So, I listened to Joe Rogan and Anthony Jeselnik talking about nothing. It was very much that the first half an hour of that podcast was, here's all the stuff that we've got to cover. We'll talk about this, we'll talk about that, we'll talk about the other. The next hour and a half it could have been, it was so clear and so obvious that they just didn't have anything to talk about. It was just purely, so what's the weather doing today? It's sunny today. Right, yeah. What was the weather like yesterday? I think it was sunny then as well. They live in freaking Los Angeles. Of course it's going to be sunny. Probably don't need a conversation about the weather. I understand I'm doing that now. But it was very much a situation where they clearly had nothing to talk about. Now, I had actually discovered Anthony Jeselnik through seeing that Joe Rogan had done this podcast with him, and went and watched his stand-ups. And I certainly enjoyed the first one. The first one was very good, very enjoyable. I've talked about it before on the podcast, talked about the fact that Leanne finds him insanely funny, which concerned me somewhat. Watched his stand-ups, watched them a good few times as well, which is always a sign that it's enjoyable. However, I then went back and listened to the podcast that had sort of introduced that person to me, and the irony was that the podcast was terrible. They just clearly had nothing to talk about. And it was very much you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have inflicted, fuck off the laptop, you shouldn't have inflicted this on other people. You should have just gone, I don't feel we've got anything to talk about. Let's not drag this out anymore. Let's not subject people to it.
I never left. I'm still here.
Left what?
Exactly.
Just want to recap everything that we went.
No, I'm alright. I could hear you.
So that was my least favourite podcast. I also...
Would you least favourite episode of that podcast?
Yeah,
You wouldn't say it was like an overall.
No, I love the Joe Rogan stuff that I listen to. I don't listen to it all. Admitted, in 2019, I listened to one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to, and that was also a Joe Rogan, which I've covered before, because it was so unexpected. Because it was Joe Rogan and Dr. Phil.
Yeah, we've talked about the Dr. Phil thing. Weird guy. Interesting though. But so what have we got next? What else is on my list? I was going to talk about the worst purchase of the year, but I couldn't think of anything. I mean, obviously that could, I'm guessing we could just say, games, but there's nothing like that I can think of for like in my house. I think, wow, I wish I never bought that. I
actually do have something.
Really?
It's awful because I just feel like I'm always going. However, I've already covered it. I got a voucher, an Amazon voucher for Christmas, which was one of those things. I often feel that you should use vouchers well. You should buy stuff that you want and you need. And this.
I haven't buy things for the house, or if I get a voucher, things things that maybe need replacing, boring things for the house.
I often, it's that thing. I often run into that. I end up spending vouchers on other people. It's like, I got a voucher for X, and it's so and so.
That was all the spotlights at work over Christmas. All went on Christmas presents.
So I got a voucher. I wanted to make the most of it, and I'd been in the market for some accessories for the Quest.
All right. Oh, I know what this is going to be.
Yeah.
I don't think I've used mine either.
I've covered this already. The silicone surround for the Quest is possibly one of the worst inventions I've ever come across. The hand straps, so you don't have to physically hold the controllers, they were a great idea, but they block some of the buttons.
Yeah.
Which is just bonkers to me. There would have been other ways to have done that as well. That's a whole other conversation. And then I've finally gone with the rubber grips, which is great. So you need to change the battery.
Oh God, yeah.
Which is quite often.
Yeah, it's quite often, unless you get really good batteries.
Yeah. So all in all, I got 3 items for the Quest. They came as one thing. I purposely bought it because it was 3 items that I wanted.
Have you got a nice case for it yet?
No.
That's what I'm looking at next.
Yeah, but I just keep coming back to the actual Oculus one.
Yeah.
It's 40 quid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't justify.
I just put mine in the box.
My box is there. Yeah. I don't think I've ever put it back in the box because I use it so much. But yeah, straight off the bat, it's like that was my worst purchase because as a purchase, none of it did what I wanted it to do.
I bought a pair of Doc Martens, which I didn't really like. That was maybe my worst purchase, but
why did you buy them then?
Because they were in the sale and they looked like the ones I really wanted. That I wanted a pair. My old pair had worn out to a point where I couldn't wear them on wet days because they were letting water in.
Right.
And I thought those are exactly the same. Bomb, not exactly the same. Not waterproof.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't really want to wear it. Different sole on them. Yeah. I just don't like wasting money on things like that, especially when you can't really send them back. Or I can't be arsed sending them back.
Yeah, and that I often have that. Oh man, because I should send it back, but
that means going to the post office or
want to go through the
drop off point.
Something I had recently. I bought my middle daughter a book for her birthday, and I bought it at the same time as I bought another thing. So they put both items in a box. When the box turned up, it turned up in a bin bag.
Oh.
Now this is an Amazon item. I was
right.
like, this is in a bin bag.
With a sticker on it?
Wasn't huge or anything like that. I was like, what the hell's going on here? quickly realised the reason it was in a bin bag was because the box had been smashed to shit.
Really?
It's like, oh, well, this is going to be interesting. Open it up. The large item, perfectly fine. It was a box. It was a big toy thing. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Took the book out. The back page, it was like, any parents out there will know what I mean when I say it's like a cardboard book. So like thick.
Oh yeah,
thick card pages. Back page smashed to bits. So I was like, I'm not accepting that.
Yeah. Amazon are usually pretty good at things like that.
Went through the process with Amazon. I was like, this item has turned up damaged. And they were like, cool, we'll refund you the money.
Yep.
That was the end of that.
Keep it.
Okay, well, it's just the back page. The rest of it perfectly serviceable.
Yep.
And I can sort of squish it down and stuff, so it's kind of alright. And it essentially didn't cost anything in the end because that was their policy. It was like, stuff like that. But yeah, like you say, I don't want to be going to the post office. I don't want to be. I'd rather take the hit on whatever.
Where is your post office here anyway? Is it like
Islington?
No, I mean like the sorting office. You have to go into town or? Because mine's at Birch Park up at what do you call it?
Oh yeah, yours will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a subject where I was like, I don't know what I bought that was not very good. I was like,
I try not to buy bad things.
I'll tell you what it was.
I try to only buy good things that I really want. I'm really like a stickler now when it comes to like, I'll think to myself, do I really want it? Do I need it? Yeah. That kind of stuff, and then I'll usually get to a point to be like, nope, don't want it.
I've got so bad. So, give you an example. I desperately need some new running shoes. Every time I put my running shoes on, I can see more of my toes. I looked online the other day. I was like,
can't buy them online.
£35. That's quite expensive. In Sports Direct today, like, do you want to spend 106 quid on some shoes? Not really. Shame. So I'll just go back and order that. But now I'm like, can I just put some tape on the shoes I've got?
Oh, I don't know. Things like that, when it comes to your feet, you've really got to look after them.
But I just can't justify it. I really want... It's kind of a mixture of want and need. I could do to get a weightlifting belt because there are certain exercises that I'm not doing in the gym because I hurt myself in the gym.
Just get a normal belt.
Just a big belt.
Just get a couple of normal belts, stick them together.
One on top of the other.
Yeah.
I found one. It's £15, and I keep going, oh man, it's 15 quid. It's a bit rich for my blood.
Oh, you mean you are completely different. I
can't justify spending money on myself.
Yeah, but things like that, it's about the quality of the item. The more you're paying good money for a quality item, you spend less. That thing is not going to last.
I get it. But what if one of the girls comes to me and is like, Daddy, I need this? I'd be like, but I bought myself a belt. I can't buy you that.
Then you'd be like, well, hopefully Santa will bring it for you at Christmas.
It's January.
Yeah, well, I have to wait. See if they're good. This is why I don't have kids.
That's not the reason. So yeah, that's how I do my purchases these days. Bear in mind, we started this off by me going, I'm going to go and buy a copy of controllers.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah. Daddy, can I have... No, I'm buying games I've already bought.
I spend all the money on computers.
Just don't want to... You can't have anything. You were buying games I've already bought that I'm only going to play for 20 more minutes. You get nothing. Yeah, very good. So, how long have we got? Well, how long have we been on for?
I don't know if I can tell you exactly how long ago.
I don't want to like drag it out too long.
NF.
Well, the last thing I've got on my list of the worst, before we just do a little quick bit on the things to look forward to, I don't want to go delve into it too deep, because it's probably stuff for another day. It's I don't want to bum people out with talking about this kind of stuff too much on an already negative, podcast.
Like I said, I didn't want us to sit here and be like, this is shit, that's shit, the other shit.
Yeah, I think
I felt that realistically we've sort of aimed for. This wasn't great.
Yeah, and we've
Let's go
also
with
talked
that.
about some good stuff as well. But for me, I want to talk about my least memorable 2019 moment. And it's
You want to talk about it, but you can't remember what it was.
no,
It was
guys.
the least memorable.
Well, just like the point in 2019 where I thought, this is definitely the low point for me, and it's something that I've kind of started talking about a bit more. Getting a little bit real with you now, getting deep with you now.
Bring it down. Want me to bring the lights down? Why?
Yeah. It's I might just perch on the edge of a stool,
Yeah.
So yeah, I had an absolute mental health blip in 2019. It wasn't great. It was I was off work I wasn't off work for ages, but it made me not want to go to work. It wasn't great. It was basically I got up one day, walked to work, and just realised that I literally could not go back in that building. And
Because you hate your job so much.
I just I just couldn't do it. I just turned around, walked home, and just and I saw a therapist. A counsellor. Sorry, we call them over here. I chatted with a counsellor for a while, and went over a few things. Anxiety was all over the place. Still, anxiety's not great. Better than it was. But yeah, I think that was probably my lowest point. I think we'll talk about mental health on another thing when we get a bit more real. But not a great point.
Did you know that anxiety is my least favourite word?
Why?
Because
it's been hard to spell.
Because I feel that it is overused in the wrong way.
It depends on what you mean by...
Oh, my anxiety is really bad. Like, phrases like that, I'm like...
It's like, do you suffer from anxiety?
Exactly. It's like, are you just saying that?
Yeah.
Or is it an actual, thing? Oh, I've got high anxiety around picking the phone up, or, stuff like that. It's like...
But do you?
But really?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I've spent quite a long time trying to find someone or the right person to actually do some kind of mental health podcast. I know we've sort of spoken about that more recently. You, like you say, you had a episode.
I like to call it a break. Just like it wasn't like a massive long. I'm off, all year from work. It was just
a break.
Yeah, I can call it an episode. I do episodes like it sounds like it's just overnight kind of thing, but it was a good while. It wasn't massive long, but
and you were like, oh, I'm going to cover a little bit of that, and it's like, that's fine. I don't have any huge issues about talking about mental health or my own mental health that I've had over the last 3 years. There was points where it was hands down the single lowest point I've ever had in my life. In the last year, I've had some of the highest points in my entire life for various reasons, and something that I something that I didn't realise up until a certain point in time was that mental health is no joke.
Absolutely not.
You do not mess around with your mental health. And mental health can be a make or break thing. You can think something and be thinking it at the lowest point in your life. And then if you were to think the same thing at the highest point of your life, that would have two completely different meanings and two completely different outcomes. It's
funny how different the views on mental health are when you're young, and you just don't really think anything of it. You think you're indestructible.
You're invincible.
Yep.
Yep. And do whatever you want.
Do what you like. Drink as much as you like.
Yep.
Take on whatever stresses you like.
Yep.
Go through it all.
And You can and you do, because you're indestructible. And I'm a big, especially more recently, I'm a big believer in the other side of male mental health. This whole men are supposed to be a certain way, and because of that, we're not allowed to be another way. I found myself in a situation where I wasn't allowed to express feelings.
Which crap. No one should ever be.
Because I was chastised for feeling things, and at the point that wall finally broke down, it was all the feelings in one go. It's a brutal thing. As men, we should take care of ourselves, we should take care of each other, we should take care of the people around us. It takes 2 minutes to say, "You alright, mate?"
Yeah.
And it takes 2 more minutes to say, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
And that's it. And that could be the difference between one of your mates being okay and not.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
There is no
Absolutely
harm in being someone that, that person who can be there for someone, who can just be a sympathetic ear, just to. You
can change the course of a person's life just by saying, "You alright, mate?"
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then checking, double checking. "Are you sure you're alright? You can talk to me if you need to."
I often do it at work, and it's people that, I may not know that well at work, but when someone's struggling, and if I've taken people off to one side and just been like, "Look, let's have a chat. Go on." I'm not any kind of manager at work, but
doesn't need to be that way.
I often feel that
be just managers.
Well, no, exactly. But I feel like people are more likely going to talk to me than they would do a manager, because mental health has still got that stigmatism where it's like. And
unfortunately, that is a big issue.
As soon as you admit at work that you are suffering this, if I feel like you're on the blacklist. It's like,
I've had conversations with people who are close to me, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm really struggling today," and you see them like glaze over, or you see them like, "Oh God, here we go." And it's like, that's not the way to do this, because your reaction to that could be the difference between me having a good day or a bad day, or an okay day.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the best you can hope for is an okay day. Personally,
most days, isn't it?
Yeah. Personally, it is something that I would like to explore. Like I say, you and I have spoken about it. I mean, the whole Avacado or the Darkest Timeline might not be the places for that, so that might be something that you and I look at doing separate to those things.
What is the whole Avacado though? It's
who knows?
Exactly, yeah. Currently we're doing the best and worst, but
that's going to run out.
I'm not going to do that every time we do it.
Well, no.
I've discussed with you a few ideas for. It's more of a. Yeah. I'd like it to be more of a, like a. What do they call it? It's like a social study kind of
open forum.
Yeah, a pod chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be about.
All podcasts should really be pod chats. Joey Diaz said, podcasts should be a wiretap.
Exactly.
I don't want
to have to theme it each time, but we'll have a general theme.
Yeah.
And mental health might come into one of those.
Yeah. Like I say, something I'm more than and would certainly encourage exploring.
I think people should be definitely a lot more open about their mental health.
Definitely.
There's no point in suffering in silence.
There isn't.
Wow. Far too deep.
I'll on the YouTubes, I'll flash up the mental health hotline type stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's important.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's not just, there's many mental health charities out there who will gladly talk to you. Some better than others.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about that too much.
No.
Don't want to get too deep. I just want to cover a little bit more, if that's alright with you.
Go on.
Things we're looking forward to in 2020. There's not going to be much of it because I can't really think of things off the top of my head right now. I've got a few things on my list. I just cover the same things we've done in the last best and worst. Movies to look forward to for me. Bad Boys is already out. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Quite want to see the Harley Quinn movie. Sorry, Birds of
of
Prey.
Prey.
Sorry. Might as well just be called the Harley Quinn movie.
I will make further judgment on that further down the line.
Yeah. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I know
I will be avoiding like the plague.
Bring it on. Bill Murray has confirmed.
He has confirmed. I'm sure that's going to make it so much better.
Let me tell you. I'll tell you one day about my my new dislike for Murray. Well, it's not that new. It's been for a while, but
I watched a video about Bill Murray's issues with like the Ghostbusters franchise and stuff, and it's like, I never realised just quite what he was like.
Was it that Movies That Made Us?
Oh.
On Netflix. Oh, you should watch that. Sonic, that's coming out. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
That looks like a fucking train wreck. So far this year, we have had 2 games confirmed. One is in the next couple of months. One is at the back end of the year.
This is the back end of the year Cyberpunk that'll never come out.
Cyberpunk, that's definitely not going to get delayed one more time so that they can just release it on the new consoles.
Yeah, and then they'll go,
And then double their money.
We'll bring it out on the old consoles as well later on.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Dick move, CD Projekt Red. The other one is Doom Eternal, which comes out in March. By all accounts, looking like it's going to be very good. Apparently, 22 to 23 hour campaign.
It's a bit full on. It's
A first person shooter.
Yeah.
Not sure what I feel about
Is there going to be
that.
much story about it? Just kind of go and shoot some demons?
Is it still on Mars?
Yeah, maybe.
Or Hell?
Can you do iron sights on it yet?
I don't know, but I know he's got some new tricks.
TV series, The Rookie's back. Happy about that. Great series. Westworld's coming back this year. New series of Discovery comes back this year. Star Trek Discovery. I started Picard last night. Very good start. I do love a bit of Star Trek, I'm afraid.
Sorry, I got a bit of a good review.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll bother.
No, it's if you weren't a fan of Next Generation, you're not going to appreciate it.
I was a fan of Next Generation, but not a hardcore. I've never been hardcore.
If you don't know
Trek
how it
or,
ended,
like
and
Doctor Who or anything
yeah,
like that sort of
Doctor
stuff.
Who. We don't want to talk about Doctor Who. We're not that bad.
TV shows that I'm looking forward to this year, like I say, BoJack. I'm interested to see how it ends.
It's mainly stuff that's been on before. I can't think of anything that is coming out that I've not seen.
No, there's nothing jumping out. Movie wise, again, feels quite quiet at the moment. Like for me personally, there's nothing that I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to see that. There's that new Vin Diesel movie.
No, that looks shit. It'll be as bad as The Last Witch Hunter. That's the kind of level of bad that's going to be.
Potentially.
It's a comic book movie, and it's just no.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything like say like Bad Boys. Want to watch Bad Boys?
Yeah. I watched. I did go see. I know it's already not coming out, but I went to see Jojo Rabbit.
That's had amazing reviews.
Dark, but
it's supposed to be really
funny,
yeah.
but some really dark bits. And Taika Waititi, fantastic.
He can do no wrong.
He's great. Absolutely.
I'm sure he'll completely fuck up Akira if he ever actually makes it.
I don't know. He might mess up the new Thor, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. The games market's not looking great. The VR games market
Quiet.
Also not looking great. I think games are going through a bit of a weird shift at the moment, is all I'll say. It feels weird that already at the very end of January 2020 and we only have 2 confirmed console games between now and the end of the year.
If you remember what happened when the PlayStation 4 came out, what did it come out with? The Killzone Shadow of something or other.
Pretty sure I still own.
Oh man, did Call of Duty Ghosts come out as well? Quite recent when it came out, and both those games were pretty dreadful when they came out. For me, I still don't think we need new consoles.
I don't think we need. I think
they've not reached their peak yet.
No, I don't feel that we had optimal content out of these consoles.
You got to get one release day, right? Though.
I don't know.
Don't you lie to me. You will get at least one of them. But I'll tell you one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not getting both of them this time around. It's going to be one or the other. Because I very rarely play the Xbox.
I have also been thinking that. I think it's one of those that this version of the Xbox could be the 360. You know, it could be Microsoft's turn to win this generation. So I do wonder. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be rushing out for a new console. I'm also probably not going to be rushing out for 2 new consoles.
One or the other. I can't. I really can't do it again. I didn't buy them both at release, but I ended up with them both, and I ended up upgrading them both. Of course, the Pro and the
accidentally ended up with them both at release.
Pro, sorry.
So there was that element. It's a weird. It feels like a weird year. I've got no confirmed gigs.
No.
No, there's the odd TV series. I'm like, yeah, that'll be all right.
No new albums coming out that I can think of.
No albums off the top of my head. No major movies that I'm going to be rushing out to go to the new IMAX to watch. You know, it feels very for the future, for 2020 being the future. There's not really much to look forward to, so it's a bit like, okay. And I'm playing old games at the moment.
Yeah.
So.
Buying everything when it's cheap.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to try and do my best to get back into a bit more VR this year because I really want. I've got to put a laptop. And I've got my new link cable coming.
I think that is one thing that if like maybe around bonus time, maybe around my birthday, that sort of stuff. I think it might be time to upgrade my PC.
Well, that was going to be one of the things. Is there any big purchases you're looking at buying, or anything fun that you're looking at buying?
That will be my next big purchase.
Yeah,
because that will allow me the option to play the Link.
I was talking today about, and as much as I hate the whole PC Master Race, the games are so much cheaper. I'd rather almost feel like spending a bit more and getting like a nice big PC, and then just buying games on that and
I mean,
just getting rid of the consoles. But I don't think I can do that. Consoles are just there. You stick them on.
Yeah,
you don't have to load up Windows and then load up whatever. And
convenience, isn't it? I mean, they're all heavily centered around.
I just hate spending I very rarely do it nowadays, but I hate spending £50 on a new game. I'll shop around and wait for it to come out, or go, come from an online supplier, or wait for it to drop. What am I buying this year? I'm going to get back a little bit more into my... I'm loving my technology at home at the moment, so I've got my Philips Hue, which I can turn all my lights on and off and things, and I've just bought my Philips Hue HDMI sync box, which basically turns your TV into one of those old school Ambilight TVs. So when I'm playing game, it'll like flash over one side and things, and it'll match the whatever lights are on the screen. Yeah. So I was playing Need for Speed and I went through a speed camera, flashed the lights behind the TV, flashed in sync with. Right. So it's pretty cool. It just adds a little bit more of an effect. Yeah. Gonna buy some more lights and things for around the house. I've not, because I don't own my own house. The lights are about the only thing I can do technology wise. I don't want to invest in Wi-Fi heating because it's not my house. But that's the kind of things I like in my house. I know as much as you hate them, I've got several Alexa units in the house. Exactly. So, but because I can run my lights on it, so I'll go to bed, lights off, turns all the lights off that need to be on. On the morning, let's say you hear something in the house, you can just say, Alexa, lights on. All your lights in the house will come on. So it's like almost like a warning.
And then, funnily enough, you check your email and you've got an email from Amazon saying, do you need a new security system for your home?
Hopefully not, ever. Quite into, it's a bit of a weird one for me, because it's not something I've ever bought. Quite into buying watches at the moment. I like a nice watch.
Yeah.
Not smartwatch, normal watches.
I had the same watch for 15 years and
Matches.
It's
all about the watch with your outfit.
Jesus. I took it off one day and never put it back on.
Well,
but that was like
loss.
all of my jewellery.
Well, yeah.
Like I wear that now. I got that for Christmas, and I kept my necklaces. All my other jewellery.
You don't got your massive wallet chains anymore in your jeans?
No.
Oh man.
No.
Get your Bernies back on with the stripes down the side and your giant back pocket so you can put a 2 litre bottle of Coke in it. Get them. They're all the rage.
Yeah.
It's coming back, innit?
Sure.
What else? Any trips planned? You probably not, because you never leave the country. I don't think they'll let you.
It's one of those. Unfortunately, I did have a trip planned for this year, but then I had a baby instead. Apparently, babies don't want to go on a plane for like 12 hours.
Oh, where are we going? It's 12 hours away.
The colonies. I'll have to celebrate being old. The only way that I know how.
It's not 12 hours away.
Of course it is.
No, it isn't. If you're thinking of Vegas, it's definitely not 12 hours away.
I was going to drive to Vegas.
Oh, right.
I was going to fly to California.
Yeah, I'm Barcelona in June for me.
Oh, nice.
So, love Barcelona. Third time for the MotoGP.
Cool.
But, yeah, that's about it, really. Nothing else. I think I'm going somewhere for my birthday. Or the weekend after my birthday, sorry.
What people say.
I don't know where I'm going, but...
Oh, definitely old people zone.
You know what?
All the bets.
I've been doing some guessing and I'm not allowed to be told because obviously it's a surprise. I know it involves train travel because I guessed that she'd booked train tickets 3 months in advance. So... And you only really book train tickets to go to London, I think. Because everywhere else is pretty cheap to get to, so you book London 3 months in advance. So I think it's going to be London. She's probably not going to listen to this podcast, so I can make my guess now out loud and then be like, hey, check it out on the 27th of January at whatever time I made this guess. And I think she's going to take me to the Harry Potter studio tour in Watford, and then like a couple of days in London or something. That's my guess. Might not be.
There you go. You heard it here first, people.
We'll see.
When he's in Skegness for a week, we'll be able to remind him.
I hope not. It's where we find out she's booked advance ticket to Scarborough.
She's booked to go to London. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you when I get back.
But then I also want to do another chat at some point about... This is obviously before we get there. Well, obviously before I get there. I want to talk about reaching that milestone.
Yeah, we need to...
We're both 39. Yeah. Gonna be 40.
Yeah.
What's 40? You can't call it dirty 30 anymore. What's 40?
Old.
40... No, it doesn't rhyme. It doesn't rhyme with anything.
Old.
It doesn't rhyme. You can't have it.
We need to start looking at, wallpaper samples, carpet samples, new bedspreads.
I have a wife.
Garden centres.
That does sound sexist, but I have a wife for looking at. But I don't look at shit like that. She buys it. That's great, love. As long as it's
looks good.
Yeah. The garden centres, no. It's not. Oh, I do want to go out the back there and do your garden at some point.
Feel free.
But only when you let the cats out.
No.
Oh.
Fuck them guys.
Right.
Right then.
Good chat.
Good chat. It's about to crest 2 hours.
Wow.
I don't think I'll split this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think people will have to strap in. Because I don't know. The last one I felt had a physical break. Unless we take the toilet break as the physical break.
I did not go to the toilet.
But I think people should just strap themselves in for this one. So yeah, thank you for making the time to join me once again. This glorious occasion.
Or was it? Or were you joining me?
Well, that is the question. You are technically the host. So I am just either the guest or the co-host.
I just want to...
So I was joining you.
Quickly ask you one thing before we go.
Okay.
Chiefs or the 49ers? Which one? Pick one.
So
I didn't think about it.
I'm going Chiefs because I think I think the Chiefs have got enough about them as a team to be able to get the job done. And by that I mean Patrick Mahomes. If that team wins, it will purely be because Patrick Mahomes makes it so. They have a not great defensive team, and Super Bowls are won on defense. 49ers, and I've heard a lot of people say that they think the 49ers are going to win this.
I didn't want this to be a massive discussion. I just wanted to...
Chiefs.
There we go. Excellent.
Chiefs.
There we go.
Lovely.
Right.
Cheers, thank you.
Love you, Kobe.
Bye. So there we go. What do you think of that? A long one, but a good one. YouTube watchers, make sure you're subscribing, commenting, sharing, clicking for notifications, doing all the good stuff that YouTube has to offer. Everybody jump over to thecookiecast.com, check us out over there, send us some love. So there we go, that's enough for this one. There'll be more to come further down the line, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.